It's a cold autumn evening here in central London, and the blue carpet has been laid out for the premiere of Amazon's much-awaited fantasy series Wheel of Time, headlined by Rosamund Pike. Let's catch all the fun that unfolds with the cast and crew. Hi, so I want to speak about your character. There's so much anticipation with the series. And you are one of the main characters here there. That would be lovely.
Sure, I got it.
So, what was it when you came on board? What was it that intrigued you? And also, it's led by a woman who takes these men along with her. You know, there's a lot of magic happening.
Well, I think that intrigues me right there, is being able to follow an amazingly powerful woman into the dark and see where we end up. I think that's really special. Everything intrigued me. The amazing source material. The books are absolutely incredible. Shooting in Prague was really, really exciting and romantic for me. Working with Rosamund was a challenge that I was really excited about. The idea of stepping into this world, not just, this incredibly dynamic world that Robert Jordan created was really an interesting challenge for me. And the character that was written so beautifully, if I could do it, if I could add something to it, if I could pull it off. I mean, if you're not challenging yourself in your career, I guess maybe you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. And so that was my challenge. And it was also sort of a childhood dream come true, a show like this for me. And it's really special.
Are you a fan of the books? Did you read the book? And what was it about your character per se? That was like, I need to see what he thinks.
I wasn't a fan of the books. I'd heard of the books. I didn't read them. I am reading them now. They are a big read. They're very thick. And I'm starting again, actually, with Eye of the World, because we're doing all the press now, and I want to be up to speed with everything. The character for me was something as an Asian actor that I always wanted to play when I was growing up. I wanted to have a chance, if I ever became a successful actor, to play a king, and to have people take me seriously in that role, and to speak beautifully, and to protect people, and to ride a beautiful horse, and to be an amazing swordsman. And I just never thought I'd have that chance, to be honest with you. And it came along. So that's what got me.
And lastly, inclusivity. I mean, that's something that's just so nice, the diversity and inclusivity in the kind of programs that we are seeing. As an actor, what do you have to say about that?
Well, a lot of it is a testament to Robert Jordan's writing, because I think he wrote such a beautiful world that it makes total sense, and everything works beautifully. Our cast is phenomenal, and I could not imagine anyone in these roles except for the people that are cast. It says a lot. I think 10 years ago, when I was starting auditioning in the States, the doors were slightly ajar, but now they're open. And for Asian actors with like Crazy Rich Asians and Minari, they really helped to open up possibilities for us. And I just tell people now it's important that we do our homework and we're good at what we do. Now we've been wanting this chance, and now we've got it. So let's be good. So study, take it seriously, do your homework, be dedicated. It's a special time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, with me is the director of the much anticipated fantasy series Wheel of Time. And what's amazing is it's led by a woman, because fantasy is usually led by men. And what I like is you directing this. So tell me, what was it like? How challenging was this entire series? Because it's 14 books and to now put it on screen.
Yes. Well, first, I'm thrilled to be given that opportunity and show that women, can, handle and direct, like a bigger fantasy show. And it's true, most of the time this opportunity was reserved to men. But times are changing, as we know. In terms of handling all of that material, that's more a question for Rafe Judkins, because he's the fan and he's the writer, he knows all the books. Interestingly enough, I was not even familiar with the book series when I was hired to do this job. And I always saw myself as being, the outside point of view, the person who comes in and truly base everything on the script, not having all the knowledge from the books, So I could always check in and say oh, I see this in the script. Is that in the books? I did read the first book just because that was related to the first 2 episodes that I did, to make sure not to miss any detail.
And comparisons are going to be inevitable. People are already, thinking, is it like Game of Thrones? No, it's a lot like Lord of the Rings. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of the anticipation and,
Yes, absolutely. But I think the big difference is that Wheel of Time tells a completely different story in terms of how women are in power and how women wield the power of the world, So that I think sets us apart from Game of Thrones and other shows,
And also regarding the casting, we've got Rosamund playing the lead character who takes with her this entourage of men into the world of, channeling and magic.
Yes, yeah. No, she's been absolutely amazing and just portrays, Moraine beautifully, with so much gravitas. You'll see.
All right, looking forward to it. And what is the Wheel of Time for you?
Well, the Wheel of Time for me is also, I think, sometimes that we need right now in the world, which is balance. The women hold the world in balance and they use their power wisely. And I think, if we give women in general more opportunity, maybe the world itself, maybe we can get the world a little bit more in balance.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
This show has such a fan base and history. What was it like being part of this?
It's amazing, I feel blessed that I'm able to play Rand, who's such a central figure in this show, and I'm very excited.
There must be a huge pressure of so much to be compared with such big fantasy series.
There was pressure a big time, and I understand that the fans are so engaged and that so many books have been sold and there's such a central figure. So when I got the job, I definitely felt the pressure, and I knew there was an image out there, but I tried to run away from that image and found creativity in the scripts and in the books, and that's where I found my bits and pieces of Rand.
What was exciting about playing your character? I mean, was it challenging, the action and everything? What was it like?
I think what the most challenging thing was at first was, I guess, that pressure that I just talked about, but let me see, what was... It was at first that pressure that was out there that I was trying to run away from.
And working with Rosamund, what was that like?
Rosamund is amazing, as a young actor, I feel very lucky that I have the chance to work with her every day. And she's a leader by example, and she have never played anything like this before, so I'm very excited to see that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I think what's special about the Wheel of Time is a couple of things. In this world, the women are the ones that are in control, and then there's also the fact that this cast is so diverse, and I think in fantasy that's just very refreshing. But what's the most special for me are the characters, that they feel real, that they feel human, and that's what I think is so good about the books as well.
Thank you.
Just, it's the 14 books, there's so much anticipation. It has a fan history of its own. How challenging was it for you to adapt it on screen? I mean, it could be it could take a decade to finish it.
Yes, it could, if we're so lucky. It's been really challenging, and I think Rafe has always had a really clear vision of what he wanted, which has been wonderful. But for us, it was a juggling act of trying to accomplish 2 things. The first thing was to make the fans happy, the people that have read all 14 books, sometimes multiple times, and giving them the show that they've always wanted. And then also to create a show for people who haven't read the books who can enjoy it just as much. So it's always been this very tricky balance, but hopefully we've tried our damnedest and hopefully we achieve it.
And then the comparisons, Lord of the Rings and Game of the Thrones.
Yes, yeah. I think that it is very humbling to even be in the orbit of those 2 names. So should we be so lucky, we're in very good company.
What stood out for you?
I think that the strong, incredibly complex female characters absolutely did. And just the opportunity to create such a nuanced, interesting world. And we're so lucky to have worked with just extraordinary artists, from Uta, our director, to Isis, our costume designer, to Andre, our production designer, who took every thought we had and just elevated it and created something so beautiful and so spectacular. And so we bow down to all of them, and we are so grateful for all of their hard work. They're just the best of the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.